The future of the species is finally unearthed.
Hello, Mojoholics. I am Rebecca, and with me, as always, is resident movie reviewer and nerd, Eric Cohn.
I'll take it.
We're all nerds.
Yeah.
It's good.
I mean, it's prerequisite at
Yes.
WatchMojo. Right.
And Eric was lucky enough to see Blade Runner 2049 early.
2049?
I don't know. Everybody I've heard talk about it has said 2049, and I was really surprised.
But it just rolls off the tongue better to say 2049.
Agreed.
Right, okay.
Anyway, so my requisite first question is, should I see it?
I do think you should see it. I think it's one of those movies that's going to be talked about for years, decades to come. It is the sequel to the 1982 Ridley Scott movie, which set the bar for all sci-fi movies to come after, which you were lukewarm on. Listen.
So I am wrong.
I thought it was a very good movie, but it certainly was long, and I had my issues with the original one. This one is now directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is a French-Canadian director who has had enormous critical success with movies like Sicario, which I loved, Prisoners, Arrival.
I loved Arrival.
Great movie. And that was a science fiction movie, a very different kind of science fiction movie.
So the first movie deals with these huge humanity questions like we were talking about. What is it to be human? And, are we selling our souls for technology? How does this one kind of deal with those types of questions?
I think, once again, the question of what does it mean to be human? Where do memories, emotions come into play? Quite often they repeat this phrase, more human than human. And so, it's hard to tell in this movie who's a replicant and who's not. And that was a theme that they started in the first one. And what I feel that Villeneuve has done is that he's taken that theme and he's built on it. So he didn't just repurpose it, but he really took that to the next level. And I think that was a very, very successful strategy on his part. That's the thing about his movies, is that he basically, every one of his movies is a universe unto itself. And so in this particular case, he's taken someone else's universe and he has to craft it in his own image. And I think he does it really, really well. The first Blade Runner was more of a mix of, almost a perfect mix of a sci-fi movie and film noir. This one really kind of does away with the film noir to a large extent. It's much more of a sci-fi movie, and whereas the first one is pretty much all atmosphere. There's not much going on in the movie. This particular movie is atmosphere and action. I think he did a great job with it. We also need to talk about the cast. It's Ryan Gosling, who kind of steps into the shoes of Harrison Ford.
I can see him as a Harrison Ford.
Yeah, there's a similar quality to them. They're both like these kind of Hollywood leading men who are, the kind of epitome of the masculine guy. So they meet face to face in this movie. We're not going to give away plot points because actually the producers,
because you're not allowed,
have asked us to not say anything yet, because we want people to enjoy being surprised, and a lot of stuff does happen. But basically the story is, once again, another Blade Runner, which are kind of cops in this dystopian future who are out to find the replicants, who are these synthetic humans, and retire them, which is basically killing. And so
that's not basically killing. I was surprised at how exactly like killing it was.
Retiring, well, but
they even bleed.
Retiring with the quotation marks. Yeah. They do bleed. So there's also Jared Leto, Leto?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
All this time I've been getting it wrong. So Jared Leto, his part is very important, but he doesn't actually get a ton of screen time. Dave Bautista,
the wrestler.
He's great.
But he's the wrestler. He's not the wrestler anymore.
No,
he's an actor now, I think.
He's an actor now, and he does a lot with a very little bit in this movie. There's one fantastic scene. There's a good fight scene between him and Ryan Gosling right off the beginning, but there's this fantastic scene between Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling in this old abandoned casino where the outside world is all dusty and kind of this weird orange haze, but inside it's all flashing lights and holograms of Elvis and Sinatra performing as they're kind of fighting and anyways.
That's cool. You're making it kind of sound like Mad Max.
Oh, well, that's it. Okay, so someone asked me today if I were to compare this to Mad Max Fury Road, and I loved Mad Max Fury Road. To me, that is the best movie of the last, maybe the last decade. I don't know. Let us know in your comments if you disagree. But how does one compare to the other? This is more of a thinking man's movie, whereas Fury Road, sure, there was a lot to think about, but it was entertaining, it was a spectacle, it was epic. This is more pensive. This may, in the end, have more of an appeal in the long run, but between the two, I personally was more entertained by Fury Road.
Interesting. All right.
Not to say this is a bad movie.
No.
Considering you didn't like the first one, is it fair to say that?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
All comments go to
I'm sorry,
her.
Internet. I tried. I like
although-
Back to the Future. That's my sci-fi speed. So.
Well, that's true, and that's also. But so this one, I think you should see just because, in the hands of Denis Villeneuve, a movie like he's never gone wrong, and once again, he continues to amaze. So I think you should see it.
All right, I will do that, and you should too. Thanks, Mojoholics.
Who'd you bring?
No one. I know you're here.
Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.